I was a little cheesy back in the day. Like if you're over 30, I don't know, you remember that one asshole in the club with just a vest on? Like, hey, who goes out with just a vest? Like, what are you, Han Solo?
Welcome to This Is Not Happening. I'm your host, Roy Wood Jr. We all have that special woman in our life, the one we like to put up on a pedestal.
Finger sandwiches, boys.
Oh, thank you, Mom.
Go on, little Roy, make it rain. There you go.
Skeet, skeet.
Now make sure you separate the ones from the fives.
I know, Ma, I know.
Such a gentleman.
Now I gotta pick up the money. Separate the bills. She the one told me to make it rain.
That's my boy.
You all know him as the host of the You're on the List podcast. You know him from his comedy album, American Comic, Bret Ernst, everybody.
I'm actually dedicating this story to my mom. It's a story about her catching me jerking off. Listen, I'm a comic, all right? I don't write songs or poems. I'm dedicating a jerk-off story to my mom, all right? That's the extent. Well, I was raised by a single mom, and she had 3 boys. And, and it's hard for moms to try and talk to your sons about the animalistic shit we do. You know what I mean? Like, my little brother and me were animals. My older brother was a little bit nicer and knew how to act. He was gay. So it makes sense. Gay guys know how to act. Literally, they're amazing actors. But I meant, they know how to behave. But we never had to talk. I mean, I learned how to be with women from, like, R&B videos and porn. And my little brother learned from me. So when you're raising sons, they catch you doing messed up shit, I remember one time I hid my rubbers. Remember you ever hide your rubbers? Because I don't want her to know. But then one time I opened my drawer and they were there perfectly folded in the drawer. So she let me know she knew, but never said anything. When moms catch you rubbing one out, they don't say. Like, I've been caught a few times. By my mom and by my wife. All right. But I'm saying, like, when your mom catches you, they don't say it. Like, if your wife catches you, now there's a problem. Now we have to have a sit down. You know what I mean? Is there a problem in a relationship? Moms are cool. I remember one time I was rubbing one out, my mom walked in, she's like, "Hey, Brett." "Okay." Turn around and left. Nothing was ever said, you know what I mean? So I'm home from college. Like, I was one of those losers that went away to community college. You know what I mean? Like, I went to community college in another town, acting like I was doing shit with my life. So I come home from community college, and and it's a Wednesday night. We're going out on a Wednesday night, because, that's what you do when you're in community college. And my friends are picking me up. They're like, "Yo, we're gonna go out. We're gonna go down to Miami, so get ready to go out." So, and by the way, I'm a reformed Guido, okay? There was an intervention, like 99. They took my cologne bottles away. But, I was a little cheesy back in the day. Like if you're over 30, I don't know, you remember that one asshole in the club with just a vest on? Like, hey, who goes out with just a vest? Like, what are you, Han Solo? Who the fuck? And I would wear Timberland boots, like that would offset the vest. Like, yeah, I do construction after I fly the Millennium Falcon. So my boys are getting ready to pick me up. So, I'm doing my pre-going out rituals, shaving the chest. Cologned up, did my curls, got the vest on. You know what I mean? I'm ready to go out. So now we go pre-drinking. There was this club down it was like a little ways down from me. It was called Crickets, right? It was a real shithole. Like, people got stabbed there or whatever, but we would pre-drink there and then we would head down to Miami to go out. So we get to the bar, vests everywhere. You know what I mean? It's jumping. And as soon as I get in there, I make eye contact with this girl, right? Beautiful girl, cute, strong 6. You know what I mean? So I see her, I zero in on her, you know, I'm like, I just walk right up to her, I'm like, hey, how you doing? You know, what's your name? She's like, Francesca. I'm like, hey, Francesca, how's it going? So I'm talking to her, we're doing shots, you know, getting hammered. And then my friends come up to me and they're like, yo, we're gonna go down to Miami, let's bounce, you know? And I'm like, all right, and I go to the girl, can I get your number? And she's like, well, why don't you stay? I'm like, well, they're my ride, I got no way of getting back. And then she's like, I'll take you home. I'm like, all right. You know, I told my boys to bounce, you know what I mean? By the way, we didn't have Uber back then either, all right? A strong 6 was your Uber. So now we're drinking, we're getting hammered, right? She's like, you know, let me take you home. So we drive back to the house. And again, I'm drunk, you're slamming around. And we lived in a little apartment. So I'm making noise, and then the lights go on, and I woke my mom up, right? And my mom had she had that mob robe. You ever see the mom robe? It's like, she's like, what are you doing? You know, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, yo, go to bed, Carol. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing up, you know? And she's like, you know, who's your friend? I'm like, Francesca, this is my mom. This is Francesca, you know. She's like, can I make you guys something to eat? I'm like, no. So my mom goes back to sleep. Now, Francesca was half Italian and half Spanish, all right? So she understood the family thing. You know what I mean? Because the fact that she met my mom, now the whole dynamic changed, you know? Because I'm making out with her and we're fooling around, but it's just not the same. She's like, you know, I can't do this. You know, your mom's in the other room. I'm like, Carol don't care. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? We're still going. And she's like, I can't. I feel disrespectful. I'm like, you know. So she gave me her number. She said, hit me up later. And she left. So now I'm alone with a worked up Pigeline. All right, so this is where it goes south. Now, this is back in the VCR days, by the way, okay? They had DVD players, but I was still working with VCR. Well, I amassed this huge VHS collection. Okay, and back then you had a porn tape that, it was on a VHS tape, but I had so many tapes that I would hide my tape in plain sight, so my mom would never find it, my porn tape said NFL's greatest hits on it. You know what I mean? I found my older brothers one time. I'm like, I haven't seen Grease in a while. Anyways, so, and that's the other thing. You didn't have internet porn back then, all right? You had a VHS tape that you passed around to your friends. And when you put it in, you saw exactly where he finished, which made it really awkward. Right? You had to rewind it and find your own little scene. All right. So I got NFL's greatest hits in the VCR, right? And now I decide I got to get one off, you know what I mean? And the whiskey's really kicking in. I'm hammered, room spinning. So I get butt naked, okay? And I'm laying in bed. Now, I don't know if you ever do this or not when you're rubbing one out in bed, but do you ever make that toilet paper runway? You know what I mean? It's relevant to the story. You know what I mean? You ever make that toilet paper runway? It's nice, quick, easy cleanup. You just throw it under the bed, wake up the next morning, get rid of the evidence, nobody knows nothing, right? So I'm laying there, butt naked, covered in Charmin 2-ply, because I knew it was going to be a strong one, right? I got my little root in my hand. I'm literally maybe 5 strokes in, right? I'm so drunk, I pass out. Now, when I wake up the next morning, okay, the TV's off, and I'm tucked in my bed. I'm like... Now, when you were out drinking the night before, you ever get really drunk, and then you wake up the next morning, there's 10 seconds where you forgot you were drinking? Then you realize you were drunk and start praying to God for things that don't exist. You're like, oh God, please let there be little magical jerk-off elves that came in here and cleaned me up. And I could imagine my poor mom, just imagine being a mom walking in, seeing his son laying there, covered in toilet paper, like some perverted mummy, with just a vest on. And she's never said a word to this day, which is why I love my mom. All right, guys.
Bret Ernst.